So in this video, we're going to discuss the inspection requirements, which is going to consist of 4 randomly generated or randomly chosen exterior inspection items. You're going to have to perform an in-cab check, and you're also going to have to perform 2 additional interior inspection items. So let's get started. Now, just before we get started, I'd like to give you folks a quick rundown on how to navigate Schedule 2. Now, what you're seeing on the screen now is going to differ from what you're going to see, or the Schedule 2 that you will see me refer to in the video that you're just about to watch. So the Schedule 2 in the video is more of a comprehensive schedule that you're going to find in most inspection books or with the documentation with your vehicle. And the Schedule 2 that you're looking at on the screen now is purpose-built for completing your road test and only includes the items that could be asked of you for inspection during a road test. So on the left-hand column here, you will see all the names of the tests that could be asked of you on the day of your road test. So each test has a corresponding minor defect or a major defect if it applies. Sometimes there's no minor, sometimes there's no major. But when you're asked to demonstrate and describe how to inspect a particular randomly chosen item, the name of that item will be found in the left-hand column here. So after you're done performing the inspection, you will refer to this Schedule 2 and you will find the test that you just did. For example, let's use the glass and mirrors. Actually, let's use the exhaust system because we have a minor and a major defect. So you will refer to the Schedule 2. You'll find the item that you just inspected, such as the exhaust system, and you will read to the examiner the corresponding codes, starting with the minor, if applicable. So here we have 11.1, an exhaust leak. You'll tell the examiner that's a minor defect, and the vehicle can still be driven. Then you'll move on to the major side. 11.2M, exhaust leak that causes exhaust gas to enter the occupant compartment, is a major defect, and therefore the vehicle is out of service and illegal to operate. And either of these defects, minor or major, would have to be recorded in the inspection book and reported to the operator. So navigating this schedule will be a lot easier than navigating the schedule that you see me refer to in the video, because the minor and major defects are broken down into the codes that apply to the item that you just inspected. So one more time as a recap before we move on, if you have a vehicle that is air brake equipped, you will receive 1 item of these 4. Then you will continue to the exterior portion of the test, which will include 3 items from this section, starting on this side of the first page, moving on to the back side, so 3 out of the miscellaneous section, and then you will receive 2 more of the 7 from the interior inspection section. So this schedule is a lot easier to navigate than the schedule that you'll see me using in the video, but it can be done with either or. So stay tuned for all the inspection stuff. That's up next. So when the examiner introduces himself or herself, they're going to tell you that we're going to start with an inspection of the vehicle, and they're going to ask to see a copy of your Schedule 2, and Schedule 2 for classes C and F you should have on you. Actually, I shouldn't say you should. You must have it on you. And you're going to be referring to this schedule throughout the duration of your inspection. Now, as I said earlier, you're going to be asked to inspect 4 exterior items, randomly chosen, and you'll be asked to perform an in-cab check, and you will also be asked to inspect 2 additional randomly chosen interior items. So total of 6 random items and an in-cab check for, I guess, a total of 7 inspection tests. So when they ask to see your Schedule 2, you'll hand it to them and they'll check it for any cheat notes or any markings that you may have made on it. They want to make sure it's clean, that you don't have any notes on it. Then they'll hand it back to you and they'll tell you that they want you to, or they expect you to, demonstrate and describe how you would inspect each of these randomly chosen inspection items. So demonstrate means they want to see that you are hands-on inspecting the item. Describe meaning that they want to hear you explain what it is that you're looking for. And when the inspection is complete, you have to identify whether there would be any minor defects present or any major defects present. You also have to acknowledge whether you can still drive the vehicle in the event that you detect a minor defect, and you have to acknowledge whether you cannot drive the vehicle, whether it's placed out of service or it's inoperable, when you find a major defect. After this is completed, you will also acknowledge that any defects found, whether minor or major, you would have to record it in your inspection book and report it to your operator. You're going to hear me repeat this quite a bit. So let's get started with the exterior inspection items. Again, there's going to be a total of 4 chosen, but there is a list of quite a few, 13 or 14 inspection items. Let's get into that now. So here is a list of all the inspection items. Now this book is for us as trainers to use as a guideline, but I can still show you what it is that's going to be inspected. Here under Schedule 2 for classes C and F, Schedule 5 is used for B and E. So for us, for Class F, we're using Schedule 2. So here you'll be inspecting such items as fuel system, glass and mirrors, exhaust system. These ones don't apply. Exterior body, and then hydraulic brakes, air suspension, spring suspension, suspension fasteners. And then down here we have tire inflation, tire tread and sidewall, wheel hubs, fasteners, wheel and rims. So now again, if your vehicle is equipped with air brakes, then you will receive one air brake inspection item, in which case you'll have to refer to our air brake training video. But for most Class F vehicles that are hydraulic brake equipped, you will get 4 items ranging from here all the way down to here. So let's get started with the first item on the list, the fuel system. All right, so we're going to start with the fuel system. Make sure the hood of your vehicle is open. We're going to inspect around the engine for any signs of fuel leaks. Telling the examiner that we don't detect any smell of fuel, see any saturation of fuel, any evidence of leaks anywhere. You're going to check underneath the vehicle to make sure you don't see any fuel or leaks of gas or anything leaking, any puddles anywhere. Then you're going to access your fuel cap through your fuel door. Now this model here doesn't have a fuel cap, but if you did, you would make sure you tell the examiner that it's present and it is tight and that there's no signs of fuel leaks anywhere. And if your tank is exposed and you have straps that hold the tank secure to the vehicle, make sure you inspect those straps to tell the examiner that the tank isn't loose or falling off. On the other side as well, this vehicle's only equipped with the one tank, but if you had a second tank on the other side, make sure you check both tanks in the same manner. Again, that the fuel cap is present and tight. There's no signs of any leaks underneath the vehicle. And if the straps are exposed that hold the fuel tank secure to the vehicle, make sure you inspect that as well. Once this is done, you'll refer to your Schedule 2. So this is what you would say. Under fuel system, you would tell the examiner, codes 13.1M says missing fuel tank cap, 13.2M says insecure fuel tank, or 13.3M says dripping fuel leak. All of those are major defects. You have to acknowledge that you cannot drive the vehicle, it is out of service, and that you would record any of those defects found in your inspection book and report it to the examiner, or the supervisor, I should say. Now we're on to the next item, which is your glass and mirrors. So let's check that out. When asked to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect your glass and mirrors, you can start on the driver's side, either side, whatever side you're on, looking for any cracks or damage, making sure that everything looks to be in good condition, that the mirrors as well have no signs of cracks or damage, and that the mirrors are properly secured to the vehicle. Now the windshield here, again, we see no signs of cracks or damage, nothing obstructing your vision. Onto the other side. This mirror here we can say is secure. The mirror is also damage-free, and the side glass here shows no signs of cracks or any damage as well. Once this is done, you'll refer to Schedule 2 again. So now you'll read to the examiner, under glass and mirrors right here, codes 15.1, required mirror or window glass fails to provide the required view to the driver as a result of being cracked, broken, damaged, missing, or maladjusted. And 15.2, required mirror or glass has broken or damaged attachment onto the vehicle body. Both of those are minor defects, in which case you could still drive the vehicle. However, 15.3, if passengers may not be carried if the driver's view of the road is obstructed in the area swept by the windshield wiper. That's a major defect. So in this case, the vehicle cannot be driven, that's out of service, and you'd have to record these defects in your inspection report and report it to the supervisor. All right, next item on the list is the exhaust system. Let's check that out. So in order to properly check the exhaust system, come on now, we got to put exhaust into the system. Why can't I get this? There we go. Let's fire it up. So vehicle's running. Again, make sure your hood is open. And we're going to start by inspecting around the exhaust manifolds of the engine, telling the examiner that we don't detect any signs of leaks. I don't smell any exhaust leaks. I don't hear any exhaust leaks. Again, around both sides of the manifold. If your vehicle is equipped with a turbo, inspect around the turbo and the exhaust output portion of the turbo for any leaks that you can't hear or see any. Then what we're going to do is find your exhaust piping or routing. And we're going to try and find it here now. So out the back, here we go, down in here, we can see some of the exhaust piping and the muffler. Again, don't see or hear any signs of exhaust leaks. Back here, same thing. Looking down as far as you can. Again, the exhaust seems to be in good condition. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go inside the cab of the vehicle, sit down, close the door behind you, and smell for exhaust gases entering the occupant compartment. So you sit down and take a big whiff, make sure she can see your face making a sniffy face, and then tell her that there's no exhaust gases coming inside the truck. Okay, then you refer to the Schedule 1. So let's find our code here. Exhaust system. So you'll tell the examiner, if we had an exhaust leak, that'd be code 11.1. It's a minor defect, so you can still drive the vehicle. And 11.2M says a leak that causes exhaust gas to enter the occupant compartment is a major defect, in which case the vehicle cannot be driven. It is out of service, and for either minor or major defects, you'd have to record it in your inspection book and report it to the operator. Now we're on to the next test. So now we're going to inspect the exterior body. Let's check that out. So we're going to start up here at the front of the vehicle. I do apologize if it's a little windy, but I'll try and speak loudly. So first thing we're going to look for is to make sure that all required body parts of the vehicle are present and none are secure, or insecure I should say, or missing. The overall condition looks to be good. There's no excessive wear and tear that could affect the vehicle's roadworthiness. We're looking for any damage to the walls, any compartment doors that may be insecure or missing. This one here is a pretty solid flat panel, but if you had a compartment door someplace for storage, make sure that it's not missing or insecure. Any visible parts of the frame then that you can inspect. Make sure it's not cracked or collapsing or sagging as well. When you get to the back here, we have some more compartment doors. You want to check their operation to make sure that they open as they should and they close, that they're not missing or insecure. And again, the overall condition, general wear and tear is accepted, but again, nothing that's severe enough that affects the vehicle's roadworthiness. Once this is done, we're going to refer to our schedule. Okay, where are we here? Exterior, body, and frame. So you'll tell the examiner everything passed, but if we had a defect, it could be 12.1, insecure or missing body parts, 12.2, insecure or missing compartment door, or 12.3, damaged frame or body. These are all be minor defects, so the vehicle could still be driven. However, if you had 12.4M, a visibly shifted, cracked, collapsing, or sagging frame member, that means it's a major defect, in which case the vehicle is out of service and inoperable. And in all cases, minor and major defects must be recorded in the inspection book and reported to the operator. I'm sure you guys are getting the picture at this point. All right, next item. What do we got? The hydraulic brake system. All right, let's check it out. Under the hood, let's locate the master cylinder reservoir. That's this guy right here. So first we're going to check the fluid level. This one's a little bit dirty. You can see it's right there. So fluid level is good. If the reservoir is low, it cannot be less than a quarter of its capacity. That's the minimum you're allowed. So 1/4 of the vehicle's or the reservoir's capacity. So fluid level's good, not less than a quarter. And we're checking around the system for any signs of leaks, which I don't see any. And you would check around the vehicle on the ground, around each wheel end, inspect at all four corners, look around the vehicle, have a look underneath, make sure that there's no visible signs of hydraulic leaks. Once that's done, you're going to enter into the cab. Inside, you're going to inspect for the operation of the parking brake to make sure that it works. You're going to start the vehicle. I hope I can get it in the first shot this time. Vehicle started. We're going to test the regular brake to make sure that it doesn't feel soft or spongy at all. And we're going to look at the dash for any warning lights. Do we have any on? Oh my goodness, we got a whole bunch of lights on. Anyways, you can't have any warning lights on the dash that indicate there's a problem with your hydraulic system other than the ABS light. That is allowed. Anything else, not allowed. Then we refer to the schedule. Let's have a look here. Where are we now? Let's take that thing out. Hydraulic brake system. Let's read it together. So you tell the examiner, if we did have, it could be 18.1, brake fluid level is below indicated minimum level. Defect, so I can still drive the truck. But 18.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, there's a lot of them, would be parking brake is inoperative, power assist is not operative, brake fluid leak, brake pedal fade or insufficient pedal reserve, other than ABS warning device, or the brake fluid reservoir is less than a quarter full. Those are major defects, meaning the vehicle is out of service and illegal to operate, and you'd have to record those defects found, minor or major, in the inspection report and report it to the supervisor. I know I probably said supervisor, operator, carrier. You pick one of those, they all kind of mean the same thing. All right, next item is the air system. So if your vehicle is equipped with an air suspension system, it's probably most likely going to be at the back here, which will be a large airbag that you can inspect. You kind of look at it like it's a tire. This vehicle is not equipped with suspension, but if you were, you would look for things such as scratching or cuts or any damage to the airbag. You would make sure that it's properly in and it's properly mounted and secure. Listen for any audible air leaks around the bag. It is full of air, so listen for air leaks. And you want to make sure that there's no cuts or gaps in the bag that are deep enough to expose the reinforcing cord between the layers of rubber. Have an airbag. Wish we did so I can show you. But yeah, that's all you got to look for. Go to the schedule again. So that was air suspension. Now we are in section 22, and the codes that apply to this one are 22.1, air leak and air suspension system. That's a minor defect, so you can at the vehicle. And the other ones would be 22.4M, damaged, bruised, cracked to braid, insecurely mounted, or airbag. Those are the only two that apply to this test. So in that case, it'd be a defect, rendering the vehicle out of service and you cannot drive it. For the minor and the major, you would have to record it in your inspection book to your supervisor. On to the next, which is spring suspension. Check it out. All right, so let's check our springs. This one's kind of hard to get to. So here we have a main up, and you have to tell the examiner how many springs you got. We got 2. Up one is our main spring, because that's the one that wraps around the hang mounting. And inspect the springs for any signs of damage, any crack. Make sure they're not broken, especially that main spring. Make sure it's not broken. And springs are like out of place, shifted, or contact with any other vehicle component. Like you don't have a broken spring that's up against another component of the vehicle. Then so this test will include 22.2, a minor defect, and the vehicle can still be driven. 5 and 0.6, cracked or broken main spring leaf or more than one broken spring. Part of a spring leaf or suspension is missing, shifted out of place, or in contact with another vehicle component. Defects, in which case the vehicle is out of service and illegal to operate. And minor to be recorded in the inspection book and reported to the operator, supervisor, carriers. All right, the next item is suspension fasteners. Let's go check that one out. So the suspension fasteners are all the nuts and bolts. Bolt up there, U-bolts right there, bolts up there. Now the shock is a little difficult to get at. Anyways, you inspect all these fasteners, saying they're nice and tight, none show any signs of. You have to point or touch the items you're inspecting. You'll say that both U-bolts, no signs of looseness, everything's properly mounted and fastened over here at the rear. Get to the shock, make sure the shock is secure and mounted both shock mounts. Once that's done, we refer to the schedule. So here are 22.3 suspension fasteners are broken. That's a minor. Still drive the truck. 2.7, if you have a U-bolt, that's a major defect. Truck is not operable. It's out of service. And minor and major reported in the inspection and reported to the operator. All right, next item. Tire. Okay, let's check it out. So, when the tire, they'll only have you do this on one tire. We're going by giving it a wallop with your. Tell the examiner that it's properly inflated. It's obviously not, and you're going to use your hand, and you're just going to touch around the sidewall to ensure you feel or hear any leaks around the tread areas. I don't feel any leaks coming out, and around the inside as best you can. And I'm just listening for leaks. Won't detect any, and this tire is inflated. Now we go back to the schedule. So let's find apply to this. So we're here under tires, leaking tire test. So we're going to 23.2 tire leaking. If leak heard, tires to be treated as a So that's a minor defect. The vehicle is still, but it says treated, which means flat tire would be a defect 3M. In this case, out of service and illegal to operate. And again, put it in your inspection book and report to the operator. All right, what do we got? Tire and sidewall condition. All right, that one out now. Okay, well, let's check out the tread on the tire. See here, got well over where the wear bar is right there, but the minimum that you're allowed is millimeters. So you tell the examiner to have at least 3 millimeters across all grooves. So tread depth. We're going to inspect the outer sidewall, inner sidewall as best as you can. Be a little bit difficult, and the tread area. It's like cuts or slashes, abrasions, bumps, or any bruising at all. Gouges of rubber taken out, and we're also going to inspect the outer sidewall as well for any exposed wire, any cord that might be showing belt. Lastly, we're going to examine that the tire doesn't seem like it's rubbing any other vehicle component, and it steers for 23.1 damage or sidewall. It's a minor, can still be driven. However, here 23.4 is less than the wear limit. Tires in contact with tire or any vehicle other than a mud 0.5. 23.6 apply. 27 tire has cords in the outer sidewall area. Those are all major defects, in which case the vehicle is illegal to drive, and you'd have to record any minor defects found in your inspection report, report it to the or carrier. All right, we're into the last 3 tests. Hubs. All right, so our wheel hub is down here, and vehicles are equipped with a hub that has a sight where you can check level to make sure is properly lubricated. But you would tell the examiner the hub, you don't see signs of damage anywhere. If it does contain oil, for any leak of oil. Also, sight glass, you want to check the oil, make sure that it is. And we're also going to look on the inside wheel. If it does contain hub oil, you're looking for any wheel seal. So there could be cooling around the inner side of the wheel, which indicates that wheel seal. You want to finish by telling the examiner no damage anywhere, leaks possibly mean any signs of hub or bearing failure. No hub or bearing failure. Now let's go to the schedule. 1. Below minimum when fitted with a sight glass. And 20 wheel seal. Those are minor defects, so the vehicle can still be driven. 20 evidence of wheel hub or bearing failure. Major defects, so the vehicle's out of service, and major defects must be recorded to the inspector and reported to the operator. Now we're on to the next test, which is wheel hairs. Now, something I want you guys to notice here: code 24.5, 20.5, and 20.5 is repeated 3 times. These 3 tests, you'll be looking for of hub or bearing failure. And let's get into the fasteners and. Well, we can't see any wheel because by this deck cap. Let's find a vehicle that has wheel fasteners exposed. Let's use a wheel. So you're going to inspect all of these lug nuts. There's no shiny metal in behind the washers, or there's washers. Rust trails. You can see like streaks of rust coming out that could indicate. They're all tight and they're all. Now also we're going to check for any, again, just like I did on the other vehicle, you're looking for any leaks, any damage. Look on the inside down in here for any signs of oil leaks at all. Don't see any evidence that the wheel hub or the bearing is damaged. Then we go refer to the schedule. So the codes that apply are loose, missing, or ineffective fastener, and 24.5 again, evidence. Both are major defects. So the vehicle is out of service and defects in your inspection book and report it to the operator. All right, last wheels and rims. All right, back the rim. So we're looking for any cracks, dents, or whatnot, that the rim is in good condition. off. We can see inside that everything was mounted and centered and whatnot, that everything looks the valve stem, lug nuts, all that stuff. And you want to have a look inside. The condition of the rim looks good on the so check for any cracks. And then finally finish again by saying that the bearing or the hub has failed, which that could indicate you have a wheel hub or bearing failure to the schedule. 22.m. Damaged, cracked, or broken part, and 24.5 of imminent wheel failure. Out of service and illegal to operate, and you'd have those defects report and report it to your supervisor, operator, whatever you want to say. For the exterior items, so we're going to get 4 of those. If you have a air brake equipped, you will get brake item 3 of those tests that we just went through. Have air brakes, which most it's just going to simply be 4 of those that we just went through. So after
Two, you'll see the minor defects. Minor defects are, well, malfunctions or defects that occur, but the vehicle is still operational. All you need to do is advise a supervisor, put it in the report, and you can continue.
The tires, usually there's a mallet carried in the truck so that you can hammer at the tire and check its air if there's any leaks. Some people just like to give it a kick. You also want to check and see if there's any bulging or cords exposed on the tire to basically signify if there's any damages. You want to also check if there's any damages to the rim, as well as check the lug nuts to make sure they're all secure in place, and also make sure that the valve stem is also accessible and that you can see it. Then when you're down by the tires, you usually also want to check this. That's it. And I mean, you have this with you on the test, so you're good, right? Now this video is an existing thing in Ontario to help you, unless it changes.
The reservoir, or the thing that holds. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do, F-class inspection.
Driver's side or left front of vehicle. Open the driver's side door. Release the hood latch and close the driver's door. Inspect the driver's side mirrors for cracks or any damage to the casings or attachments. Inspect the running boards for any damage or cracks along the front to rear of the running board. Check the left front tire for any abrasions, bruising, cuts, or pieces missing on the outside of the tire and on the tread. Check the rim of the wheel for any damage, bent or sharp edges, or signs of scraping such as paint that has been removed. Inspect the fastening nuts on the wheel for any signs of back-off where the wheel stud threads are exposed. Inspect the driver's side, front door, and fender for any body or paint damage. Inspect the driver's side wiper blade for any tear or rubber separated from the wiper blade. Inspect the driver's side windshield wiper sweep and check for any streaking or scored windshield. Front of vehicle. Approach the front of the vehicle and inspect the front grille for any damage. Inspect the lights for any visible damage to the exterior lens. Open the engine compartment hood and inspect the following to ensure an adequate amount of fluid. Check the engine oil level and discoloration. Gold is good, brown requires attention. Check the windshield washer fluid level. Inspect for any fluid leaks around the radiator, all hoses and hydraulic lines. Close the engine compartment hood and approach the right front side of the vehicle. Passenger side or right front of vehicle. Inspect the running boards for any damage or cracks along the front to rear of the running board. Check the right front tire for any abrasions, bruising, cuts, or pieces missing on the outside of the tire and on the tread. Check the rim of the wheel for any damage, bent or sharp edges, or signs of scraping such as paint that has been removed. Inspect the fastening nuts on the wheel for any signs of back-off where the wheel stud threads are exposed. Inspect the passenger's side front door and fender for any body or paint damage. Inspect the passenger side mirrors for cracks or any damage to the casings or attachments. Inspect the passenger side wiper blade for any tear or rubber separated from the wiper blade, and check for any streaking or scored windshield. Passenger side patient compartment. Inspect the passenger side of the patient compartment body for any damage or paint issues. Inspect the lighting for any visible damage to the exterior lens. Open and inspect the side patient compartment door for any damage and ensure it closes securely. Inspect the right rear fender flares for any damage. Also, check tire for any abrasions, bruising, cuts, or pieces missing on the outside of the tire and on the tread. Inspect the fastening nuts on the wheel for any signs of back-off where the wheel stud threads are exposed. Rear of vehicle. Inspect the rear of the vehicle for any damage or cracks from one side to the other side. Ensure that the step folds and unfolds. Inspect the lights for any visible damage to the exterior lens. Open and inspect the rear doors for any damage and ensure both doors close securely. Driver's side patient compartment. Inspect the driver's side of the patient compartment body for any damage or paint issues. Inspect the lights for any visible damage to the exterior lens. Inspect the left rear fender flares for any damage. Check the rear tire for any abrasions, bruising, cuts, or pieces missing on the outside of the tire and on the tread. Inspect the fastening nuts on the wheel for any signs of back-off where the wheel stud threads are exposed. Test the sirens to ensure they are operational. Turn on all the emergency lights, including the four-way flashers, and check all sides of the vehicle for proper sequence operation. Look for any faulty lights. Look for any faulty lights. If you find any issues or you have any concerns with your vehicle, please contact your superintendent or commander.
F-class inspection. You're going to go outside, you're going to meet your instructor, and they're going to tell you that they want you to do 4 external inspections and 2 internal inspections that you're going to use your Schedule 2 for. So if you don't know what the Schedule 2 is, this is your Schedule 2. This is what you're going to be working off of for your entire inspection. And this is what you're going to read from after every time you do inspections. So I've highlighted the ones that you use for your F-class test. but it's your responsibility to ensure that you have that for your test. And so you can print this off the MTO and make sure you have it with you. So this is the Schedule 2 here. So basically what's going to happen is after you do each inspection, you're going to read the Schedule 2 back to your instructor. And we'll go through each one. So like I said, you're going to have 4 external inspections and 2 internal. Now you will do an entire full cab inspection on the inside, and then after you've done your full in-cab inspection, they will ask you to do an additional 2 inspections that you will read your Schedule 2 for. So the first one we can look at, let's say we'll do doors and emergency exits. So you're going to be standing outside, and you're going to look at your door. And you're just going to say, from the outside when you're looking at it, you're going to say, I don't see any damage to my door. It looks like it is secure. You're going to walk up, you're going to open the door, and you're going to close the door, and you're going to tell the instructor that the door is secure. And once you've done that, you're going to just step back and say, would you like me to check the other doors of the ambulance or the vehicle? And they'll either tell you yes or no. And that's basically all you're going to do for doors and emergency exits. Once you're done doing that inspection, so you say, yes, there's no damage to the door, it's secure, it closes safely, you'll pull out your Schedule 2, you'll look at your doors and emergency exits, which is here, and you'll say, the minor defects of doors and emergency exits is that the door, window, or hatch fails to open or close securely, and the alarm is inoperative. Those are minor defects. You can drive the vehicle, but you must report it to your supervisor, and you're going to log it in your book. Then you're going to look at your major defects column, which is up here, and you're going to say, when carrying passengers, required emergency exits fails to function as intended, and that's a major defect, you can't drive the vehicle, you're going to report it to your supervisor, and you're going to log it in your book. So you're going to read that to him, and then you can move on to your next inspection. So doors and emergency exits done. Driver controls and driver seat, well, that'll be interior inspection, so we'll go over that in a minute. So exhaust system is the next one. This one here. So exhaust system, first thing you're going to do is you're going to get in the vehicle and you're going to start the vehicle. Then you're going to get out, you're going to come to the front of the vehicle, you're going to pop the hood. You're then going to open up the hood, you're going to look down into the hood, and you're going to say, I don't smell any exhaust, or I don't smell any gas. You can also look underneath, so you can get underneath, and you can look and make sure that you don't see anything that's dripping or leaking. So once you do that, you're going to walk down the side of the vehicle, you're going to look on the side there. You're going to get down underneath, you're going to look at the exhaust pipe that's hanging, and you're going to say, I don't see any leaks, I don't see any cracks to the exhaust system, everything's secure to the vehicle, there's no damage. And then you're going to come to the back where your muffler would be, and you're going to say the same thing. There's no cracks, there's no damage, everything is secure to the vehicle. Those are the main things that you want to say for most of your inspection. And basically what you're doing is you're just trying to cover your Schedule 2. So if you look at the Schedule 2, you'll see exhaust system, exhaust leak, except as described in column 3, is your minor defect. And what you're going to say is you can drive it, you must report it to your supervisor, and you're going to log it in your book. The next one says leak that causes exhaust to go, gas to enter the occupant compartment. So the last part of your exterior inspection for exhaust, once you've checked lifted the hood up, checked in the hood, make sure there's no leaks. Check underneath, no leaks, everything's secure. Check on the side, everything's secure, no damage. Everything's secure to the vehicle, and you're going to check the back and do the same thing. You're going to then get inside the driver compartment, you'll start the vehicle, and if you're going to say to the evaluator that you don't smell any gas or fumes in the driver compartment. And that's the last part of your exhaust inspection. And then you'll just read your exhaust system part of your Schedule 2 to him if he asks you to check those. So he's only going to ask you to check 4 external things, but it's important for you to know all of the external inspections. So yeah, exhaust system is done, and then you're going to read your Schedule 2 to him, and then just tell him what you would do if you had a minor defect and a major defect. Exterior, body and frame. First thing you're going to do for that one, you're going to pop the hood again. So let me just erase these old ones here. So exterior, body, and frame. First thing you're going to do is you're going to pop the hood. So hood is open. You're going to look down. Most of the time you can't actually see the frame from the engine compartment, but you're just going to say you do. You're going to look down, you're going to say, I don't see any damage to the frame, I don't see any shifting or any cracking. You can get underneath. I always advise everyone to get underneath and look, just so you're doing a more thorough inspection. So get underneath the front of the vehicle, just look underneath and say, you don't see any damage to the frame, you don't see any visible cracking or damage. You're going to walk down to the side, do the same thing, no damage, no cracking, everything's secure, no visible shifting. And then you're going to step back and you're just going to look at the entire body of the vehicle, whether it be an ambulance or a van or whatever you may be using. You're just going to say, I don't see any damage to the body of the vehicle, everything's secure. You can even go up and grab like a piece of the bumper and just shake it a little bit, just to show them that you're checking to make sure that everything is secure. So you're just going to say, yep, body looks secure, everything is attached, there's no damage, no cracks to the body of the vehicle, and then you want to make sure that you're checking the frame. So again, I'll just go over it again. You're going to pop the hood, you're going to look in, you're going to see the frame, or you might not see the frame, but you're going to say, I don't see any cracking, any shifting to the frame. You're going to look down, underneath, you're going to say the same thing, no cracking, no damage, no shifting, and then the side of the vehicle over here is where you're going to say no cracking, no shifting, everything, no damage at all. And that's it for external body and frame. And then you're just going to go over, when you're done, you're going to read your Schedule 2. Schedule 2 says, so basically for your Schedule 2, you want to make sure, one thing I did miss for body and frame is sagging. Sagging of the frame. Make sure that you're saying that when you're inspecting the frame, you want to say there's no sagging. That's a huge part of your Schedule 2, and that could be a major defect. So basically what you're saying, when you are checking, you're saying there's no shifting, there's no cracking, and there's no sagging, because those are all major defects. Now, the minor defect, insecure or missing body parts, insecure or missing compartment door, damaged frame or body. Minor defects, you can drive the vehicle, you must report it to your supervisor, and you're going to log it in your book. Major defects, shifted, cracking, collapsing, or sagging frame member. So those are major defects. You can't drive the vehicle, you must report it to your supervisor, and you're going to log it in your book. All right, so the next one is fuel systems. This one's pretty straightforward. Let me just erase this. So fuel systems, you're just going to walk down the side of the vehicle. You're going to go to your gas tank, which I think is here on this one. You're going to tighten the gas cap and just make sure that it's secure. Hear a couple clicks and just say to your inspection person that the gas cap is tight. You're then going to get down on the ground underneath, and you're going to look at the gas tank. You're going to say, I don't see any leaks, I'm looking at the gas tank, there's no damage, and it's secure to the vehicle. And that's pretty much it for fuel systems. Then once you're done doing that inspection, you can pull your Schedule 2. There's no minor defects for fuel systems. And the major defect for that one, missing fuel tank cap, insecure fuel tank, and dripping fuel tank. And those are the 3 things that you assess while you're doing your inspection. So all those are major defects. Can't drive the vehicle, report it to your supervisor, log it in your book. All right, the next one, glass and mirrors. This one is pretty straightforward. You're gonna look at your entire vehicle. So you'll have your, you have your driver's side, you have your windshield, and then your passenger side as well. You're just gonna step back, you're gonna look at the window. You're gonna say to your inspector, I don't see any cracks to the window, there's no damage. I can see through the window, so there's full visibility. That's an important one that you must say. So you're gonna go to the driver vehicle, you walk around to the windshield, you're gonna say the same thing, no cracks, no damage, full visibility. Passenger side as well. You're gonna go to your mirrors, and you're going to ensure that they're attached to the vehicle, so you'll actually grab the mirror and just give it a little shake. And then you're gonna, while you're doing that, you're just gonna say to your inspector that you can see that the mirror is attached and it's secure safely. You're gonna look in your mirror, and you're just gonna say, there's no damage, there's no cracks, I can see through the mirror and there's full visibility. And that's it for glass and mirrors. If you have glass on your back doors or you have back windows, just ask the inspector if he wants you to check all all windows, or if by just checking the windshield and the driver's side, you'd be okay with that. So once you've done that, you're gonna read your Schedule 2, and sorry. So required mirror window glass fails to provide the required view to the driver as a result of being cracked, broken, damaged, or missing. And required mirror glass has broken or damaged attachments onto the vehicle body. Minor defects, you can drive the vehicle, report it to your supervisor, log it in your book. Now, major defect, if you are carrying a passenger, the view of the road is obstructed by the area that's swept by the windshield wipers. That's a major defect. You can't drive the vehicle. You must report it to your supervisor and log it in your book. So it's really important to be reading a Schedule 2 after each inspection they tell you to do, or they will fail you. It's an automatic fail. So glass and mirrors, fuel systems is done, exterior body. So these are all interior, heater and defrosters, interior as well. So we'll go over that. So horn is interior. So hydraulic brake systems. So this is one that they usually always ask because it's a difficult one to check. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to pop the hood. So open up your hood, and as you open up the hood, you'll see your engine. I know all the engines look different, but most of the time, hydraulic brake fluid is this one right here. I can't really see that well. It's that one there. Sometimes it can be located on this side, and then sometimes it can be located over here. On my vehicle that I did my test on, it was located on the right side. It doesn't really matter. It all looks the same. So it's that little compartment with you'll see the cap on it that has like the yellow writing. So the first thing you're going to do, it's written down here for you, you're going to open up the hood. You will look at the fluid container. You're going to look how much fluid is in there. And you're just going to tell the evaluator that the reservoir, or the thing that holds the fluid, is greater than a quarter full. So that's important because a quarter full is the minimum level that you could drive this vehicle with your brake fluid. If it was less than a quarter full, it's either a minor or a major defect, and you won't be able to use this vehicle. So yeah, so you'll look at the fluid container, you'll tell the instructor, okay, I'm looking at it, I'm seeing that the fluid level is greater than a quarter full, which is the minimum reservoir. I don't see any leaks, so you're going to check engine and ground for any leaks. You can look in the engine compartment, say there's no leaks, and then you're going to actually get down on the ground and look underneath. And you're going to say there's no leaks as well. So no leaks from the brake fluid, nothing on the ground. You're then going to get up, you're going to walk around, you're going to get into the driver's seat. You're going to pump the brake approximately 3 or 4 times. So the vehicle's off at this time. So you're going to pump the brake, pump, so about, let's say 4 times, until the brake pedal gets hard under your foot, until you can't pump it anymore. Once it gets hard, you're going to hold your foot on that brake pedal, and you're going to start the engine. So as you start the engine, your brake pedal should drop slightly. And basically that is the pressure from the hydraulic brake system. So that's how you check the brake system to make sure it's working properly, and that's what they want you to do for your inspection as well. So once you do that full inspection, you're going to go pull out your Schedule 2, and you're going to say, minor defect, brake fluid levels below indicated minimum level. So sorry, that was a minor defect. So you can't drive the vehicle, report it to your supervisor, log it in your book. Major defect, brake boost or power system inoperative, brake fluid leak, brake pedal fade or insufficient brake pedal reserve, activated, warning device, brake fluid reservoir is less than a quarter full, parking brake is inoperative. Those are major defects. You can't drive the vehicle, report it to your supervisor, and you log it in your book. Lamps and reflectors, that's not something that they're going to test you on. Passenger compartment, that's not something they're going to test you on. Steering is interior, so we'll go over that. So it's important for you to familiarize yourself with the Schedule 2 because that is the way that they're going to assess you for your inspection. That's where everything comes from when they do the inspection itself. So suspension system, you're going to actually get down on to the vehicle. You're going to look sort of in this area here. And you should see coil springs that come down like that. Now basically what you're going to do, excuse me, is you're going to tell the evaluator that you don't hear any leaks coming from the suspension system. You can see that the springs are there and they're secure, there's no damage, and there's no cracks. You can do that to both the springs or if there's one spring there. And those are called coil springs. So coil springs. Now, if they ask you to check the rear of the vehicle, they'll ask you to check leaf springs. So these actually look a little bit different. So leaf springs are sort of like overlapping pieces of metal. They sort of look like this underneath the vehicle. And basically what happens with those is they're secured by something called a U-bolt. So I'll see if I can find a picture for you guys. Alright, so as you can see in this photo, you can see the leaf springs. And if you can see the in the middle, the thing that's actually holding the leaf springs together, that's called the U-bolt. And those will be on the rear of your vehicle if you're driving like an ambulance. I'm not too sure what you'll have if you're using a cargo van. So you have your leaf springs. Basically what you're going to say is what you're going to say is that you can see that the leaf springs are there, they're not damaged, they're not cracked, they're secured to the vehicle, and that they're secured by a U-bolt. And that's all you're going to say for your suspension system check. You're then going to go to your Schedule 2, go to your suspension system, and you'll read off. So your minor defects and your major defects. I'm not going to read them just for the length of the video, but I'm sure you get the idea. So tires, you're basically, when you're doing your inspection, so it says damaged tread or sidewall of the tire and leaking. So when you are doing your inspection, you're going to get down at your tire, and you're going to look at the sidewall of the tire, which is the part of the tire that you can see. And you're going to say, I don't see any damage to the sidewall. Everything looks fully intact. There's no wires hanging out. The tread of the tire, so like this part up here, is 3 millimeters at least thick. So that's the minimum level you could have for your front tires, and your back tire is 1.5 millimeters. Obviously, because it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle, you're going to have more wear and tear on your back tires. So 1.5 millimeters is your minimum level, and your 3 millimeters is your minimum level for your front tire. So basically, while you're assessing, you're just going to say, all right, I don't see any damage to the sidewall of the vehicle. Everything's fully in the tire, sorry. Everything is secure to the vehicle. Feeling the tread depth, it's greater than 3 millimeters, which is the minimum amount for the front tire. There's no leaks coming from this tire that I can hear or see. You'll actually give the tire a good kick with your toe, or if you have a hammer in the side of your, or a mallet in the side of your vehicle, you can give the tire a hit with that just to ensure that the tire pressure is good. Most of the time, they'll just ask you to check one tire. So if you have the opportunity to do that, just go to the front tire. Then you have the coil springs. It's easier to check as opposed to the back tire. So when they do tell you to check tires, you're just checking the tire. You're not actually checking the hub, because hub is a separate inspection. Okay, so go to your tire, and you're going to read your Schedule 2. So your minor defects and your major defects over here. So wheels, hubs, and fasteners. They're going to tell you to check hub oil. Basically, the ambulance doesn't have hub oil, but technically, if it did, there would be sort of something called a sight glass, and there would be hub oil in it. And then all you would do for that inspection is you would say, I'm looking at the hub oil, I'm seeing it through the sight glass, and there's no leaks. Only thing you want to ensure for hub oil is that it's not leaking. So wheels, hubs, and fasteners, you then want to check the hub, which is this part here. So you're going to go down, you're going to look at the hub, you're going to say that there's no damage, and it's secure to the vehicle. You then, by hand, just want to tighten each bolt that's on the hub. Just make sure that they're tightened, that the evaluator is watching you do that. So say that you don't hear any leaks coming from the hub. Like I said before, no damage, no cracks to secure the vehicle. You then want to get down on the ground and come around. So in behind the actual sort of like wheel, you'll see a fastener. So let me just see if I can find a picture for you. All right, so with this picture, you can see right beside the tire is the actual fastener that's holding it to the vehicle. And you can see that it's secured with bolts to the axle. That's the thing that you're going to be checking for a fastener, and you're just going to say that there's no damage, there's no cracks. You're seeing that it's securing the wheel to the vehicle safely, and nothing is hanging from the tire that could interfere with the fastener. Now, another thing you want to make sure you're checking with wheels, hubs, and fasteners, or even tires, if they ask you to check tires. Sometimes these vehicles have 2 tires in the back, and you basically just want to stick your head in to make sure that nothing is going to be rubbing or going to interfere with your tire rotating, whether it be the mud flap or anything else, your fender in the front. So you can add that into your inspection, just say that when you are checking the tire or the wheel, nothing is interfering with the tire's ability to spin, and nothing is rubbing against it. So when you're done that one, you'll read your wheels, hubs, and fasteners, so part 24 of your Schedule 2, you'll read that off, your minors and your majors, and your windshield, wiper, and washer fluid is part of your interior inspection. So that's it for your exterior inspection. So again, your evaluator will ask you to check 4 out of those things I just showed you, and they can be any 4. So basically a computer just spits them out, and they choose on that day. So the next thing you're going to do after you do your 4 external inspections is you're going to get in the vehicle, and you're going to do your full interior inspection. So I know up here it says 2 internal, but you're going to do a full in-cab inspection first, and then they'll ask you to do an additional 2 inspections. So one thing I always like to do with interior inspection is start in a circle from where you're sitting. So if you're sitting in your seat, work left to right, so like a big circle. So start in a circle from where you're sitting, and you're going to start the vehicle when you get in. So the first thing you're going to check is so the seat that you're sitting in. So you're going to move it forward, you're going to move it back, and you're just going to ensure that it locks into place. You can ask the instructor to do it as well. They're going to be sitting in the passenger seat. They probably won't, but just give them the option to try it if they want to. The next thing I always like to say, it's not really part of the inspection, but it's just good to say, is there's something on the floor that can interfere with your ability to drive or move the pedals, so there's no water bottles or garbage or anything on the floor that could roll around. The next one is seatbelt. You're going to pull your seatbelt right out. You're going to say that there's no rips, there's no tears, and it locks right into place. So 2, seat, when you're checking your seat, in your Schedule 2, there's actually a driver seat part of your Schedule 2 that has minor and major defects that you'll read if they ask you to check the driver's seat again. So seatbelt, we went over. Door, you're just going to look at your door, you're going to say there's no damage, no cracks or anything. Window, so we did seat, now we did our door, and now we're at our window. So we're sort of working in a big circle. You're going to say that there's no damage, there's no cracks, the window goes up and down. So you want to ensure that you're telling the instructor that there's clear visibility throughout your window. That's an important one. So once you've done that, you're going to go to your side mirror. You're going to say that your side mirror is attached to the vehicle, there's no damage, and there's clear visibility. So basically it's the same as your exterior inspection was, you're just doing the same thing from the inside. So then you're going to grab onto your steering wheel, and you're going to honk the horn. You're going to grab onto it 10 and 2 position, and you're going to give it sort of like a turn it back and forth. And when you're doing that, you're going to tell the instructor that you have no excessive free play or no lashing of the steering wheel. Basically what that means is you're turning the steering wheel a lot and the tires aren't turning. That's what happens when you have excessive free play of the steering wheel. Then you want to turn your steering wheel all the way to the left. You're going to put your window down, stick your head out, and just ensure that your tires have turned as well. And then just make sure you turn it back, because when you're starting your F-Class test, you're sitting in between pylons, and if you don't turn your wheel back and you start your test and you hit one of those pylons, it's an automatic fail. All right, so gauges and lights is the next thing you're going to check. So when you're done checking your steering wheel, just look at your gauges. Just turn your high beams on. You can turn them off, make sure those work. Your indicators, some evaluators might actually get out of the vehicle and look at the lights. Some don't. It all depends. Turn your indicator lights on left and right. Put your hazards on. You're going to tell the instructor that you have no engine lights and that there's no lights on your dash, whether it be fluid or anything else. You're going to look at your speedometer. You'll say your speedometer is at 0 because you're not moving, which is what it should be. You look at the battery voltage, make sure that's fine. Your oil temperature is fine, and your gas tank is at whatever limit it is, which is appropriate for you to be doing your test. You're then going to look at your windshield. You're going to say that it's clear, there's no cracks, you have clear visibility throughout. You're going to pull your windshield wiper fluid back, and you're going to ensure the fluid comes out, and that the washers clear the fluid off of your windshield. The next one will be heaters and defrost. So you just turn your air conditioning on full blast. You're going to switch your position to the defroster, so the windshield, and just lean forward and ensure that the air is blowing out, and then tell the instructor that you can feel the cold air, and then you're going to turn the temperature to hot, and you're going to say the same thing, that you can feel the hot air blowing out onto your windshield. Then you want to check your heater. So after you're done checking your defroster, just turn the position to like head, so the air blows out towards your face, so you're just showing them that your heaters work and is blowing out hot or cold air. The last thing you want to check for your internal inspection is each F-Class vehicle needs 3 emergency things. So those being cones, pylons, or triangles, whatever your vehicle might have, a fire extinguisher, and a first aid kit. So those are the 3 things that you'll need. Some vehicles might have an inspection book in the actual vehicle. If there is an inspection book in the vehicle, just make sure you pull it out, you look through it, you sign it, that you just did the inspection. You'll probably have your CVOR in there, your insurance, your registration for the vehicle, and all that stuff. Now, once you're done your full in-cab inspection, so you're going to do everything that we just talked about. So from number 1 to number 12, you're going to do. And then once you're done that, the evaluator might ask you to say, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to check windshield. So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to check my windshield again. It's clear, there's no cracks, it's clear visibility throughout. I'm going to make sure my wipers work, pull the fluid out, and make sure it clears. Once you're done that, you're going to read your Schedule 2. So you'll go over to your Schedule 2, and you'll see windshield, wiper, and washer, and you'll read your minor and your major defects. So that's number 25 at the bottom. So your Schedule 2 is alphabetical order. So you start at A, and then it goes at the bottom. It's easier to find. And after you do that, they'll say, okay, good, I want you to check defroster. You'll say, okay. You'll turn the AC on to full, you'll lean forward, you'll feel the air blowing on the windshield, switch it to hot, say the same thing. And then you're going to go to heater and defroster on your Schedule 2, which is number 16, and you're going to read your minor and your major defects. And once you're done that, that is your inspection. And then they'll say, okay, we're going to begin to drive. Now, some vehicles have chocks on the wheels, which are those like triangles that go in front. If you have those in your tires before you start your test, ensure that you take them out, or else if you hit them, it's an automatic fail. And then they'll tell you to begin your test, and you'll start driving. And that is your F-Class inspection.
Hello everyone, my name is John. I'm a current paramedic student, and I just completed my Class F. I just wanted to go over a couple things to help you during your road test and better understand what's expected of you on your road test. Alright, before we get started, if you don't have your Schedule 2 yet, I would recommend going to my description and just downloading this and printing it off. So you need this for your driving test. You need to have a Schedule 2 on you and the daily report. So print this off. Usually I would recommend going to a like U-Haul and renting a 9-foot cargo van. That's all you need for the Class F. You don't need anything bigger. Anyways, yeah, so what you want to do is fill out here is just the company, you can put U-Haul, put your truck plate, you can just put non-applicable here, location inspection, so wherever you're doing your F-Class. I did mine at Guelph and passed. I didn't make it the first time. I'm going to be explaining what you should be expected of and what are some of the major kind of fails you can prepare for. Date and time, so you can put, December 9th, 2019 at 3:30 p.m. Odometer, just put your kilometers here, and then circle kilometers, inspect your name, so just fill your name in all these 3 boxes. And then also before you do your test, just do it once over, go through all the Schedule 2 that pertains to you and just make sure everything's good, and your major, and then just put none in both these categories. And then that's it, and then just give it to your instructor. Okay, everyone, so I just ended the video, and I just want to go over exactly what's expected of you in this test. I'm going to go into everything more in detail soon, but basically they're going to ask you for 4 exterior inspections. The in-cab checks, you're going to do all the in-cab, and then 2 the interior inspection. So for the 4 exterior, you want to inspect what they ask for. Specifically, you have to ask for the U-bolt. You want to specifically do the U-bolt. Don't do anything else. Sorry, it's right here. So the U-bolt, don't do anything else in the suspension system, just do the U-bolt. And then after each exterior inspection, you want to read out the minor and major defects that apply to that specific thing they asked you. So they ask you for the U-bolt in the suspension system. You just want to list out, you just want to say that there's no minor defects, and that the only major defect is the loose U-bolt. And then you want to say for the minor defects, you are able to drive, log in your book and report it to your operator. And for the major defects, log in your book, you cannot drive and report it to your operator. So just make sure after each inspection that you do, you read out the minor and major defects for that inspection. So moving on, this is your Schedule 2. So like for instance, not everything in here applies to you, so 1 to 5 does not, but I'm going to be explaining all the ones that do apply to you and how to inspect them. We're going to go with exterior inspection first and then move on to the interior. So 1 to 5 doesn't apply to you at all. 6 and 7 are interior. 8's interior, 9's not applicable to you. Okay, 11's the first exterior one. That's applicable to you. So I'm just going to flip to my page. I have some notes here. Okay. So what we're going to do is hop into the vehicle, start it. Make sure you can already have it running before you get there, because usually, especially now that it's cold, they usually want to run in, they hop in for a little bit, talk to you, and what's expected of you, sign everything, and then you guys go outside. So you're going to pop the hood and say, I don't smell any gas or exhaust fumes. And then you're going to also just quickly check under the engine bay, right over here, and just say, I don't see any leaks on the front. And then you're going to go over to the side here and say, I don't see any leaks or any cracks, and it's secure. And then you want to go over to the back and say the same thing, no cracks, no damage. All right, so this is actually what they test you on. So they have 1 to 33 of what they can test you on. Some of it doesn't apply to you, but we'll be going over how to do those specific things. But if they do ask you, for instance, fasteners, only demonstrate, only describe, and only talk about the minor and major defects for the fasteners, nothing else. Don't talk about the wheels, don't talk about the hub. That's one of the things that they can fail you for. Necessarily, some of them might not, just because it depends on the instructor, but as a safety measure, just if they specifically ask you to look at the wheel hub, just confirm with them, and if they want you to look at anything else, they'll tell you. Okay, so moving on to number 12, exterior body and frame. So you're just going to look back. For instance, for my Class F road test, they specifically asked for one side of the vehicle, so I just did the passenger side of this. If they ask you to do the whole exterior inspection, so this is what you would do. You pop the hood, and you look inside, you just say no damage, no shifting, no cracking, no sagging of the frame, and just look around, and you can also go to the side here and look under, and also say no damage, no shifting, no cracking, no sagging. You'd also just step back, and then say I don't see any damage to the body. Everything's secure, attached, no cracks, no sagging, no damage, no shifting. If they specifically ask you to do one part, like I said, just do that one specific part. So he, for instance, asked me this side, and I just did that side. I just looked at the whole body here, and then I looked under, and that was fine. Okay, so the next one is the fuel system. This is one of the ones I haven't done. So what you want to do is just, so depending on what he asks you, he might ask you for a specific part, but if he asks you for the whole entire fuel system, what you want to do is just pop open the gas cap and just tighten it, make sure it's tight, and then just focalize that its gas cap is tight. And then usually the tank is under here, especially with the cargo van, so you just want to look under. So just give your, like, also just another tip, take out the cargo van. If it's your first time taking the road test, or if you have no experience with cargo vans or any other vehicles, just take it out like an hour and a half before your road test, because you have to come 30 minutes early anyways, and just make yourself familiar with the vehicle. For instance, under the hood, one of the things is brake fluid, so just make sure you know where the brake fluid is, but I'll explain everything in the video. But anyways, right under here is the fuel tank. So you're just going to go and look under, and then just say I don't see any leaks, no damage, and it's secured to the vehicle. So after, I forgot to also say this, so after each single one that you do, for instance, if you do exterior body and frame, you want to say, okay, so if they ask you the whole, you want to say all the minor and major defects. So if they do exterior body and frame, you demonstrate and you describe it, the next you want to talk about the defects. So you're going to say minor defects for exterior body and frame: insecure or missing body parts, insecure or missing compartment door, damaged body frame or body. You can drive it, log in your book, and report it to your operator. And then a major defect is visibly shifted, cracked, collapsing, or sagging frame member. So that one you cannot drive. You would report it to your operator and log in your book. So just make sure you say those specific things. For instance, if you go to wheels, hubs, and fasteners, they specifically ask you for the wheels, only mention the minor and major defects about the wheels. And then I won't read all the fuel systems, but there you go. There's no minor ones, and then there's the major ones. You just list that. Okay, so glass and mirrors is an outside inspection. It is partially in the interior cab as well, but they can ask this for exterior. So what you want to do is just ask them if they want just one or all the windows done, or all the mirrors done. So for the mirrors, you just want to say I don't see any cracks, any damage, and there's full visibility. You can also give it a little shake, see if it's secure, and then just ask them if you have to do it all. So the next one is heater defroster, that's in cab. So we'll move on. Hydraulic brake system. So this is another one. So for this one specifically, if they ask you to check the brakes, there's different categories which you can do. So this one specifically, they may ask you to check the brake fluid, they may ask you to check the brakes. There's different categories, but I'll tell you how to do all of them. So if they ask you to check the brake fluid, what you want to do is just pop the hood, just look at the brake reservoir, and just make sure it's a quarter or more full. So the major defect for this one's brake fluid reservoir is less than a quarter full, so you're just going to unscrew it, or if you can see the level. So this one you can see here, and then usually like the quarter, like the minimum is right around here. So the fluid's up above, you can see it. You can also unscrew it just to make sure, so they know that you know what you're doing. You just want to say the brake fluid reservoir is greater than a quarter. There's no leaks, and then you're also going to just make sure that you're going to look under to say there's no leaks. And then if they ask you to check the hydraulic brake system, what you want to do is just get into the vehicle. You're going to pump the brakes while the truck is off 3 to 4 times until it gets hard, and then turn the vehicle on, and then you should feel the pedal kind of like loosen up a little bit, and you just want to tell them that's what you're doing, and the brake system's fine. All right, so the next one that applies to you is the passenger compartment. So just ask them if you can do your door as the passenger compartment. So you just want to look at it, say that the padding's not damaged, there's no damage on the steps or the floor, there's no luggage rack, so just say there's no damage luggage rack or compartment. There's passenger restraints, like the seatbelt, and then the passenger seat's secure, so you can just take a little like test with your seat. Okay, and then you can move on to your minor and major defects. Remember, list them out if they specifically ask you for one thing, but the passenger compartment is usually as a whole, so you'd say every one of these things. And then now we'll move on to the suspension system, steering's interior. Okay, for the suspension system, you just want to go, usually they'll take you to the back wheel because that's where the leaf springs are. So here, these are actually the leaf springs, this whole part right here. And then this is the U-bolt, this little thing that makes a U right here. Okay, so those are the two main parts that you want to know of the suspension system. You just want to go near it and say, I don't hear any leaks from the suspension system. So this is another one where they may ask you a specific thing about the suspension system, like the U-bolt, or they may ask you about the leaf springs. So as a whole, I'll tell you. So you just want to say, I don't hear any leaks from the suspension system. The spring leaks are there, and there's no cracks, and it's secure. And you can also ask them if you need to check all the suspensions. And then you just want to say the leaf springs are there, there's no damage, no cracks, and secured by the U-bolt. If they ask for the U-bolt, just say that there's no damage, and it's secure, and it's not loose. Just want to read out the minor and major defects that apply to you. So if they specifically ask for the U-bolt, there's no U-bolt minor defects, so you would say no minor defects for the U-bolt, and then the only major defect for the U-bolt is loose U-bolt. If they ask about the spring leaf, you go broken spring leaf is a minor defect, and then these are the major defects for the spring leaf. And then you just say for the minor, you're able to drive, report it to your operator, and log in your book, and major defects you cannot drive, report it to your operator, and log in your book. Okay, so moving on to the tires. My papers out here. So the tires, they specifically might ask you for the tread, the sidewall, or the tire leaking. All right, so number 23 is tires. So they might ask you for the tread and sidewall or the tire leaking. They might ask you a little bit of questions about this one, since this one's kind of everyone should know. Okay, for instance, they might ask you what's the tread depth. So 3 millimeters is the minimum for the front tires, and 1.5 millimeters is the minimum for the back tires. So if they ask you if for the tire leak, you just want to say I don't see or I don't hear any tire leaks. I just want to give the tire a little kick and say the pressure's good. And then if they just specifically ask you for the tire leak, you would also then reflect your schedule, a list of minor and major defects for tire leak or flat tire. For the sidewall of the tire, you just want to say I don't see any damage, everything's intact, and there's no wires hanging out. And if they ask you about the tread, usually they put those together. They will say you just want to say everything's secure, and the tread depth is 3 millimeters. So depending on which tires you check, the front and the back, you want to say that specific. So 3 millimeters is the minimum for the front tires. It's at least 3 millimeters. And then once you've done that, you just want to reflect back to your schedule, and then list out the minor and major defects and what you do upon finding. And again, reminder, specifically if they ask you for the tread or sidewall and not the tire leaking, you would say minor damage tread or sidewall of tire and not the tire leaking part. And the same goes for major defects. So moving on to the section 24, wheels, hubs, and fasteners. So we'll go over the wheels first. You just want to take a look at the wheels and say So specifically, what you would want to say for the wheels is there's no damage, no cracks, and it's not broken. The rim attaching part. Then moving on, we'll go to the hubs. So these ones don't have hubs, but some of them do. So you just say, I'm looking through the side glass for the hub oil. I'm seeing through the glass and it's above minimal level and no leaks. And then you'd want to also check it and just say secure and it's no damage. All right, and then moving on to the fasteners, you just want to tighten each one by hand. So the fasteners, these little things. And just to clarify, the hub oil is this part, the black part right here. So for the fasteners, you just want to say they're all tight, none of them are missing, and they're all working properly. There's no damage. And depending on what they ask you, go back to your schedule, read out the specific part that they ask you, or the whole part they ask you for the whole of the wheels, hubs, and fasteners, read them out, and then say what you do upon finding them. So moving on to the interior inspection, this is the one that they're just going to ask you to do and just talk about it. You won't list the minor major defects, you're just going to do the entire interior inspection by yourself. So the first thing you want to do is start your vehicle, and then you want to check the seat and see if it locks into place, and you can also ask him to check his. You want to pull the seat belt and just say there's no rips, no tears, and it locks into place. You just want to look at the side mirror, it's attached, no damage, clear visibility, adjusted properly. Then the next thing is the steering wheel, so you kind of want to go in order. So check the driver's seat, seat belt, mirror, and then the steering wheel. And then the steering wheel you want to do is just check for excessive free play, lashing the steering wheel, and then you can also turn it all the way to the left and all the way to the right, and stick your head out the window to make sure it turns. The free play trick, you just want to place your hand here, right on here, and then just turn it left, and then when you see the tire move, that's the free play. And then moving on from the steering wheel, erase that. You're going to look at the gauges, so after the steering wheel, just look at the gauges. You just want to say that there's no engine lights, there's no lights on the dash unless there is, just say, oh, the parking brakes light's on because my parking brake's on, or there's no seatbelt light because my seatbelt's on or off. You want to say the speedometer's at 0 because we're not moving. The battery voltage, so that's the one right up here, I believe, this one right here. So I want to say the battery voltage is fine. Oil temp's this one, oil temp's fine. And the gas tank's at whatever it's at. And then moving on from that one, you just want to look at the windshield and just say there's clear visibility, no cracks, no damage, and then you just want to spray the windshield washer, which is right here. This little switch here, just pull forward, spray it, and then just say the windshield washer fluid level is fine. After that, you're going to check the heater and defroster. So you're going to move this one all the way down to the right for the defroster, turn it up on heat, and just check all the levels quickly with your hand out, and just check if the hot air is blowing out, and just vocalize everything that you're doing on that, and then you change it to cold and say it's working. And then you can set it to whatever one you want. Usually I just keep on the defroster. After you're done the in-cab check, you're going to go on to the interior inspection. So this is where they'll specifically ask for two things. They'll pick up two things for the interior inspection, do the same things you just did, but you'll also say the minor major defects and what you do upon finding them. So I kind of explained all the interior inspections already, so I'll just note which ones they are for you. So number 6 is interior, number 7 is an interior, number 8 is an interior, number 16 is an interior, so this is the defroster. Oh, and steering ones. Okay, and that's your inspection test items, and then you'll go on to do the road tests. Make sure you obey the rules of the road. Just check your mirrors before you approach an intersection, and check left, right, left upon approaching an intersection, just making sure the traffic's safe for you, even if it's a green light, just do the check, thing like that. And also, just another tip for you, if you're merging, they're going to take you on the highway for merging onto the highway, or that ramp on, and orange, there's like a little orange speed sign that says 40 kilometers an hour, so make sure you obey that, and go 40. You should probably know that from your G-test. And make sure you stay in the right lane if there's left and right lane, make sure you stay in the right lane. And I would 100% recommend get the MTO bus book. It explains everything, how to reverse park, what to do on a railway crossing, and everything else they need to do. Just as a reminder, just read it and get an idea what's expected. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a good day. Good luck with the Class F. Again, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. I'd love to help. I don't want anyone failing like me the first time. I don't know if I mentioned this, but if I didn't, the reason I failed the first time is the driving was fine. Interior inspection again. What killed me was the Schedule 2. So I thought specifically if you ask for wheels, you'd go into this one and do the whole thing. During my second test, the guy asked me why I failed and I explained it to him, and he said that he wouldn't have failed me for this, but just as a precaution, if they specifically ask you for one thing in the part 24, like the wheels, don't do hubs and fasteners because some people will fail you for that. I know it's kind of stupid. Specifically, if they ask you for the wheels, don't do the hubs and fasteners. And for any other part of the schedule that kind of branches off into subsections, just do that one part they ask you for. All right. So good luck. Hopefully you kill it, and see you guys later.
Driver's side or left front of vehicle. Open the driver's side door. Release the hood latch and close the driver's door. Inspect the driver's side mirrors for cracks or any damage to the casings or attachments. Inspect the running boards for any damage or cracks along the front to rear of the running board. Check the left front tire for any abrasions, bruising, cuts, or pieces missing on the outside of the tire and on the tread. Check the rim of the wheel for any damage, bent or sharp edges, or signs of scraping such as paint that has been removed. Inspect the fastening nuts on the wheel for any signs of back-off where the wheel stud threads are exposed. Inspect the driver's side, front door, and
Disclaimer: the following series of videos is for reference only and cannot replace the official MTO sources. For information about commercial knowledge and road tests, visit Road Test Commercial Vehicles and review the official MTO handbook. Credits: the following series of videos refer to The Ultimate Guide to Passing the Ontario MTO Class F by Rachel Pugsley and the official MTO Bus Handbook. Links are provided in the video description. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you find the video helpful.
F Driver S License Vehicle Daily Inspection Part 1 Exterior Inspection. The video is based on my experience taking the road test in 2024 at the Ottawa Walkley Drive Test Center using a GMC 9-foot U-Haul cargo van. Make sure to bring the completed daily vehicle inspection report with you on your test day. Keep in mind to use the Schedule 2 sheets as a guide and reference during the inspection part of the test. Contrary to the prints I use, please ensure that there are no notes or highlighting on the sheets. Let's start with the exterior inspection. During this part of the test, the examiner will ask you to inspect 4 items randomly selected from the Schedule 2 list. Note that the items are arranged in alphabetical order in the schedule. Inside the rectangle at the bottom, I have included an excerpt from the official MTO Bus Handbook for learning purposes. You can start reading from there. Above that, I have provided some suggestions on how to inspect and what to say based on my already mentioned sources. Exhaust system, with the vehicle running, open the hood or other compartments as required, and inspect the complete exhaust system to ensure there are no signs of exhaust leaks. After starting the vehicle, open the hood and say, I don't smell any gas or fumes in the occupant compartment. Exit the vehicle, open the hood, and look down. I don't smell any gas, exhaust fumes. Look underneath the front, side, and back. I don't see anything dripping or leaking from the exhaust system or any cracks in the exhaust system. The system is secure to the vehicle. No damage.
Remember, during the test, you can refer to Schedule 2 before or after the inspection. It's best to read it beforehand so you can use the same words when showing how you would inspect a specific part. You can only read the specific item the examiner asks for. Some parts will have only 1 or 2 bullets to read, or just minor or major defects, as not all parts have both. For all items, the column on the left is the minor defects, while the one on the right is the major defects. In the exhaust system, you always read both columns, as leak is all the examiner can ask about that system. After each inspection demonstration for the 4 items in the external inspection, you must state the procedure for finding minor and/or major defects. Minor defects can drive the vehicle, but you have to report it to your supervisor operator and log it in the logbook. Major defects cannot drive the vehicle. You must report it to your supervisor operator and log it in the logbook.
Next item, glass and mirrors. Inspect the vehicle to ensure all external mirrors and mirror attachments onto the vehicle body are secure, not broken or damaged. Grab and give it a shake. Look at the windows and the windshield and state, no cracks, no damage, I can see through the windows. There is full visibility. No cracks, no damage, I can see through the windshield. There is full visibility. Mirrors are securely attached. No damage, no cracks, I can see in the mirrors. They are adjusted properly for me. There is full visibility.
In this item, you will also read both columns. State those phrases for minor and major defects.
When inspecting the hydraulic brake system, start with the vehicle off. According to the official MTO bus handbook, open the hood and check the brake fluid reservoirs to ensure that the brake fluid is above the minimum required level. There is no brake fluid leak. And the brake fluid reservoir is at least 1/4 full. Point to the container and say, brake fluid level is between max and min and is more than 1/4 full. Then, check the engine and under the vehicle for any leaks and confirm. There are no leaks from the brake fluid line. Follow these steps to verify major defects mentioned in Schedule 2, other than the leak. Firstly, get in the vehicle and pump the brake 3 to 4 times until it becomes hard to pump. Then, keep your foot pressed down on the brake and turn the vehicle on. You should notice the foot dropping slightly. Next, say, the brake system is working properly. After that, take the vehicle out of park into drive. Keep the parking brake active since the beginning of the inspection. And note, the vehicle is not moving, the parking brake is operative. Finally, point to the dash and note, no warning lights are indicating any issues with brakes.
Since I'm not an expert, I would assume that a fluid leak could cause various issues at a certain level, so I would as well thoroughly read both columns for this item. You must always repeat those sentences after inspecting any item.
Suspension system, inspect the vehicle or describe the process to ensure an air leak is not noticeable in the air suspension system and any airbag is not damaged and has air in it. Get down on one knee by one tire and listen for any air leaks from the suspension system, no leaks from the suspension system. Then, inspect the springs area for any signs of damage, no damage. Suspension system, inspect the vehicle or describe the process where not accessible to identify any cracked or broken springs, spring leaves, or a spring leaf or suspension part is missing, has shifted out of place, or is in contact with another vehicle component. At the rear tires where the leaf springs are present, look and feel them and assess the U-bolt. Leaf springs are there, not shifted, not damaged, not cracked, secured to the vehicle by the U-bolt which is tight. There is no contact with another vehicle component. Please take note of the following information. If the examiner requests you to inspect only the suspension fasteners, focus solely on these components and the U-bolts. According to the handbook, you should inspect the condition of the suspension system components and the hardware, including suspension fasteners and U-bolts, that attaches it to the vehicle for any visual signs of loose, missing, or broken components. When inspecting, point to and touch the fasteners and U-bolt and state that suspension fasteners and U-bolt are present and secure with no damage.
Remember to consider this example. If you're asked to inspect only the suspension fasteners, you should only read for minor defects. Suspension fastener is loose, missing, or broken, and major defects read, loose U-bolt. No need to read both columns entirely. In fact, the examiner might mark you wrong if you do. I understand it can be bothersome, but please remember to say those sentences.
Tires are another item that the examiner can be specific on his request, so pay attention. Tires, leaks. Select one tire of the vehicle and inspect it by listening and feeling for any leaks. Note, kicking the tires or using a mallet to check for flats is acceptable. Look and feel for leaks in the sidewall and tread area. Kick the tire and feel for a bounce. I don't hear, see, or feel any leaks from the tire in the sidewall and tread area. When asked about tire damage and tread, respond as follows. Select one tire of the vehicle and inspect it. 1. Damaged tread or sidewall of tire. 2. Tire tread depth to ensure the depth is greater than the minimum 3 mm steer tires and 1.5 mm for other tires. 3. Contact with another tire or any vehicle component other than mud flap. 4. Exposed cords in the tread or outer sidewall area. State no damage, everything looks intact, no wires hanging out, tread depth is greater than the minimum, steering tire 3 mm, back tire 1.5 mm, minimum tread depth. There is no contact with any vehicle component.
Only provide details on leaks or damage as requested by the examiner. For example, if he asks to inspect for leaks, don't read damaged tread or sidewall of tire as a minor defect. State the magical sentences.
Most tedious part is having to learn how to identify each part separately. If you thought that tire and wheel were the same thing, or if you don't know where the hub or rim is located, don't worry, it's normal, but you need to learn. Ambulance and a cargo van, for example, don't have a sight glass, but the handbook says, sight glass not present, describe the inspection of the hub oil level is above the minimum level. Inspect to ensure there is no evidence of a leaking wheel seal. Ensure there is no visual evidence that a wheel, hub, or bearing failure could occur. Therefore, just say, if hub oil was present, I would check if the oil level is normal, and look and feel around the hub checking for leaks. For all the parts you inspect in this item, state, no visual evidence that wheel, hub, or bearing failure could occur. Inspect for any missing fasteners and recognize the visual signs of loose or ineffective fasteners, such as a gap between nut and wheel. Inspect to ensure there is no visual evidence that a wheel, hub, or bearing failure could occur. Touch all bolts and nuts and say, lug nuts are secure and tight. All bolts are present and tightened. Also say, no visual evidence that wheel, hub, or bearing failure could occur. Still on the same item, the examiner will select 2 wheel assemblies and require you to inspect inner and outer wheel assembly, open hood, if access will improve visibility to ensure any wheel, rim, or any part used to attach the wheel or rim is not damaged, cracked, or broken. There is no visual evidence that a wheel, hub, or bearing failure could occur. Point and say no damage, no crack to the wheel or rim, they are secure, and no visual evidence that a wheel, hub, or bearing failure could occur.
Once again, it's important to note that you might not read all the items depending on what you are asked to inspect. For instance, if you're asked to check the fasteners, there are no minor defects, and you should only focus on major defects like wheel has loose, missing, or ineffective fastener, and evidence of imminent wheel hub or bearing failure. Minor and major defect statements again.
Emergency exits. Test the function of the window or door to ensure it opens and closes properly and that the required alarm is operational. I would open and close the door required by the examiner from both the inside and outside of the vehicle and say, doors and windows open and close freely, properly, and securely as intended.
Here, read both columns. Minor and major defect statements again.
The last item for the exterior inspection is to inspect the exterior body and frame. For a front engine bus, open the hood and check for any insecure or missing body parts, insecure or missing compartment doors, damaged frame or body, or visibly shifted, cracked, collapsing, or sagging frame members. Pop the hood, look down, get underneath the front and side, and inspect for any damage to the frame, shifting, sagging, collapsing, or visible cracking. Everything appears secure. Next, examine the entire body of the vehicle. Shake and strike the bumpers. Confirm that there is no damage to the body of the vehicle and that everything appears secure.
Read both columns in the schedule. Minor and major defect statements. We have completed the exterior inspection. Be sure to follow the in-cab check in part 2 of this video and access all the mentioned sources using the links in the description. If you found the video informative, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with friends and colleagues who are preparing for the inspection section of the F driver's license test. Disclaimer: the following series of videos is for reference only and cannot replace the official MTO sources. For information about commercial knowledge and road tests, visit Road Test Commercial Vehicles and review the official MTO handbook. Credits: the following series of videos refer to The Ultimate Guide to Passing the Ontario MTO Class F by Rachel Pugsley and The Official MTO Bus Handbook. Links are provided in the video description. Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you find the video helpful.
Part 2 of the video pertains to the in-cab checking aspect of the vehicle daily inspection required for obtaining the F driver's license. Remember that this video is based on my individual road test experience in 2024 at the Ottawa Walkley Drive Test Center using a GMC 9-foot U-Haul cargo van. Let us begin the second part of the daily inspection part of the test, the in-cab check. During the in-cab check portion of the test, you will be expected to start the vehicle and perform all the following checks. Establishing a logical sequence that works for you is essential, ensuring that you cover all the necessary parts and know exactly how to carry out each check. Following alphabetical order, the item listed first is all the gauges, so confirm and indicate that all gauges and indicators are normal and working properly. State the following phrases. Speedometer is at 0 because we are not moving. Engine temperature is normal. I have a full fuel tank, which is enough for my trip. No warning engine lights. The seatbelt reminder light is on because I am not using the seatbelt, and it goes off once I put it on. Signals show as they should from the inside left and right indicators, 4-ways and high beams. Driver's seat and seatbelt are the next items. You should confirm the driver's seat is secure and seatbelts are secure and in good working condition. Say, driver's seat looks locked into place and is stable. There are no rips or tears, and the seatbelt clicks into place. Mirror and windshield. Check the windshield and confirm it is clear and has no obstructions or damage to the glass. Confirm the mirrors are properly adjusted. Point and say, I have clear, full visibility. No obstructions or damage on windows or windshield. Mirrors are adjusted appropriately for me. They are clean and not broken. I have full visibility. Heater and defroster controls. Confirm the heaters and defrosters work in all positions. I feel the warm air in all positions and speeds. The heater and defroster are working. For the steering wheel, confirm that the steering wheel is securely attached to the vehicle, responds in the normal way, and there is no excessive free play. Demonstrate that there is no excessive free play or lashing of the steering. The horn is working. I see the wheel turning in the direction I am steering, and the steering column is stable and locked into place. Wipers and washers, confirm the windshield wipers and washer fluid are working normally. Activate the fluid and wipers while you say, there is enough fluid as there is no warning light stating otherwise. The windshield is clear of streaks, and I have full visibility with work windshield wipers. Passenger compartment. Inspect the passenger compartment and seat to ensure stanchion padding is not damaged. The steps or floor are not damaged. Overhead luggage racks or compartments are secure and not damaged. Required passenger restraints function properly. The passenger seat is secure. Some of the sentences you can say are, no damage to the steps or floor. Overhead compartment is secure. Seatbelt is present and functional. No damage. The seat is secure.
After completing the inspection, you will be directed to the area where you will perform offset backing and simulate and describe an uncontrolled railway crossing. Finally, you will start the road test. Check the link to my road test in the video description. Best of luck to everyone. We have finished the in-cab check. If you haven't already, please make sure to check the exterior inspection in part 1 of this video and access all the mentioned sources using the links in the description. You can also watch the other 2 videos related to the road test, F driver's license components of a U-Haul 9-foot cargo van and F driver's license, Ottawa Walkley road test. If you found the video informative, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with friends and colleagues who are preparing for the inspection section of the F driver's license test. Feel free also to share your testing experience in the comment section. Until next time. Disclaimer: the following series of videos is for reference only and cannot replace the official MTO sources. For information about commercial knowledge and road tests, visit Road Test Commercial Vehicles and review the official MTO handbook.
The video is based on my experience taking the road test in 2024 at the Ottawa Walkley Drive Test Center using a GMC 9-foot U-Haul cargo van.
Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you find the video helpful.
Let's begin this overview video by familiarizing yourself with the Drive Test Center and learning the procedures you must follow in order to take the test. First, here's the back of the test center. The inspection area is designated with yellow lines on the asphalt and delimited by traffic cones. The delineator posts delimit the offset backing region in the back. How should you proceed on exam day? You should come 30 minutes before your allocated appointment to park in any of the 3 available spots in the inspection area. Enter the test center and use one of the self-service totems to check in. For the check-in, you will need your driver's license number, vehicle company, type, put U-Haul cargo van, license plate number, vehicle color, and location, right back. After checking in, return to the vehicle and wait inside it. An examiner, most likely named Guy, will come to meet you. Have 3 documents ready to show the examiner: your driver's license, the daily vehicle inspection report that you completed and signed, and the Schedule 2, which is free of any markings. The examiner goes over how the test works before the test begins. The external inspection is the first section of the test. The MTO bus handbook states that it must be performed with the parking brake engaged, and that from the Schedule 2 list, you are to locate and examine 4 randomly selected items. I've included quotes from the official MTO bus handbook text for each item in this video.
Let's start with the exhaust system inspection, as that was requested by the examiners on my 2 attempts. Kindly watch my other videos for a thorough analysis of the inspection. To perform the inspection sequence for this item, you must first understand that the vehicle must be running, and that the brake pedal must be depressed to turn it on. 2. You smell the occupant compartment as soon as the car is turned on, and 3. You open the hood. 4. After that, you step outside to look over the engine compartment under the hood. Steps 5 to 7 involve inspecting the vehicles underneath, front, passenger side, and back, where the muffler assembly is located, right side. The next item is glass and mirrors. Start from inside the vehicle and examine the windshield, window, rearview mirror, and mirror attachment. Ask the examiner if he wants you to check the windows and mirrors on the passenger side, as well as the glasses on the side and back doors. Another thing that was requested of me to check on both occasions was the hydraulic braking system. Keep in mind that the car must be turned off and the parking brake applied before beginning the check for this system. You check the fluid first because it's essential for the brakes to work properly. The reservoir is located in the engine compartment's far right corner. 1. Mark the fluid level in the container. 2. Inspect it for leaks. 3. Look underneath the front of the car for leaks in the system line. In the driver's seat, you'll look for any major defects. 1. Check the brake system by pushing the brake pedal 3 to 4 times, and then turning the car on. 2. To test the parking brake, shift from park to drive. 3. Point to the dash and indicate there are no brake warning lights. The examiner can tell you which suspension system to inspect. If not, inspect the one in the rear tire because one of the components, the spring leaves, is only found in the back. If you're looking for leaks, position yourself near the back tire, gaze inside the suspension area, you won't see an airbag, and listen. The suspension system structure includes spring leaves and fasteners. The main spring leaf is on top, and the leaves below are in decreasing order of length. A center U-bolt and multiple clips secure these spring leaves. 1. Check them by touching them. 2. You must reach the U-bolt behind the wheel. The inspector will most likely ask you to inspect 2 or 3 things in our following item, tires, so pay attention to his instructions and only do what he asks. If he wants you to examine the tire for leaks, you must understand which areas of the tire to look at. The tire is the black rubber cover, the tread region is the section that makes contact with the road, and the sidewall is located on the tire's side. It's basic. To check for leaks, inspect the tread and sidewall areas. To inspect damage and tread, keep in mind that steering tires, the ones in front, have a minimum tread depth of 3 mm, while all other tires have a minimum tread depth of 1.5 mm, and that damage must be assessed in all locations. Additionally, make sure the tire is not in contact with any car components. Next are the fasteners, wheel, and hub. You must be aware of and able to identify the differences between the components. The hub, spokes, and rim make up the 3 components of the wheel. The wheel is shown in the figure in white, with yellow and black beside it. The wheel assembly's outermost component is called the rim. It is the flat portion of the wheel in the white depiction, and the yellow outer circular design in the illustration next to it. The wheel hub is the central section. Keep in mind that an ambulance or cargo vehicle does not have an oil hub sight glass. Therefore, simply touch this portion when checking it during the test to elucidate as though examining the oil level from the sight glass. Look for visible indications that a wheel, hub, or bearing failure may occur in addition to checking for oil leaks. Here is another picture to illustrate the wheel hub. The section for wheel hub contains the fasteners. Although knowing the difference between lug bolts and lug nuts is kind of boring, the information is included here because nerds will find it useful. To inspect them, make sure that none of them are loose or missing, and look for any obvious signs that a wheel, hub, or bearing could occur. You will undoubtedly need to inspect this item, so be sure you know where each part is and what it consists of. You will be asked to assess the inner and outer wheel assemblies after the examiner selects two wheel assemblies. Therefore, rim, wheel or fasteners examine both the interior and exterior, touch the parts in question to ensure there is no damage, and look for any outward signs that a wheel, hub or bearing failure may occur. During one attempt, I was fortunate to get the item, emergency exits, and the examiner requested that I check the rear doors. Whichever one he requests doesn't matter, all you have to do is open and close them, check them for damage, and make sure they are safe. The external body and frame is the last item on our outside inspection list. 1. Examine the engine frame underneath the hood. 2. Examine the side step and the body of the car. 3. The bumpers on the front and back.
We have completed the first portion of the components relating to external inspection. If you haven't already, please watch the video regarding the vehicle components when performing the in-cab check. You can also see more videos about the inspection and road test on the F-Driver's License playlist.
If you found the video informative, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with friends and colleagues who are preparing for the inspection section of the F-Driver's License test. Feel free also to share your testing experience in the comment section. Until next time. Disclaimer: the following series of videos is for reference only and cannot replace the official MTO sources. For information about commercial knowledge and road tests, visit Road Test Commercial Vehicles and review the official MTO handbook.
The video is based on my experience taking the road test in 2024 at the Ottawa Walkley Drive Test Center using a GMC 9-foot U-Haul cargo van.
Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you find the video helpful.
Let's begin this overview video by familiarizing yourself with the Drive Test Center and learning the procedures you must follow in order to take the test. First, here's the back of the test center. The inspection area is designated with yellow lines on the asphalt and delimited by traffic cones. The delineator posts delimit the offset backing region in the back. How should you proceed on exam day? You should come 30 minutes before your allocated appointment, park in any of the 3 available spots in the inspection area. Enter the test center and use one of the self-service totems to check in. For the check-in, you will need your driver's license number, vehicle company, type, put U-Haul cargo van, license plate number, vehicle color, and location, right back. After checking in, return to the vehicle and wait inside it. An examiner, most likely named Guy, will come to meet you. Have 3 documents ready to show the examiner: your driver's license, the daily vehicle inspection report that you completed and signed, and the Schedule 2, which is free of any markings. The examiner goes over how the test works before the test begins. The MTO Bus Handbook states that during the in-cab check portion of the test, you will be expected to start the vehicle and perform the following checks. As a complement, I've included quotes from the official MTO Bus Handbook text for each item in this video.
Even though I will go over the items in alphabetical order, I would recommend you establish a logical sequence that works for you to ensure that you cover all the necessary parts and know exactly how to carry out each check. Let's start. A. For all the gauges. I pointed out the following items: 1. The speedometer. 2. The engine temperature. 3. Fuel. 4. The seat belt reminder light. 5. Parking brake indicator. 6. Right and left indicators. 7. Warning light or 4-way flasher. And 8. High beam, which would appear as a blue light. Take note of where the warning light bottom is positioned. D. For driver's seat and seat belt. Inspect the driver's seat to ensure it is not damaged and will remain in the proper position while driving. Seat belt to ensure the tether belt is secure and works properly when clipped and unclipped. E. For emergency equipment. The handbook talks about flares, lamp, and reflectors. In this cargo van, you will find the triangle which is situated on the floor of the occupant compartment between the 2 seats. H as in heater and defroster. In this item, it is critical to turn on the heater and defroster fan for all directional controls and locations and confirm that the system functions properly in all positions. Perhaps inspect the heater first, testing all speeds and locations, then the defroster in the same manner. When testing one and then the other, ensure that the air control is in the correct position. M. For mirror and windshield. Check for obstructions and damage in the driver's side mirror, window, and windshield, then ask the examiner if you should also check the passenger side. One observation out of context: for the driving portion of the test, the mirrors must be properly adjusted for you, especially the smaller ones. I suggest putting it all the way down and outwards. P refers to passenger compartment. Simply go over those items. 1 floor, 2 overhead compartment, 3 seat belt, 4 passenger seat. S4 steering wheel. Check for 1 excessive free play, 2 whether the horn works, and 3 the steering column. W as in wipers and washers. 1 splash the fluid, 2 turn on the wipers, 3 point to the dashboard to show that there are no signs indicating low fluid. 4 describe the wiper's function and blade's condition. Before we conclude, just out of curiosity, I started with the items that were nearest to me, including the driver's seat and seat belt. I then proceeded to the steering wheel, horn, dashboard, all gauges, fluids, and wipers. I then held up my arms to point to the windows, doors, windshield, and mirrors. Lastly, I made sure the heater and defroster, emergency equipment, triangle, and passenger compartment were all in working order before I left for the road test.
We have completed the second portion of the components relating to the in-cab check. If you haven't already, please watch the video regarding the vehicle components when performing the exterior inspection. You can also see more videos about the inspection and road test on the F Driver's License playlist.
If you found the video informative, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and share with friends and colleagues who are preparing for the inspection section of the F Driver's License test. Feel free also to share your testing experience in the comment section. Until next